And that's part of my fear next season, because everything that I've done this season hasn't worked. Most people have seen through all the rubbish that I've done. I'm beginning to think that these women are going to Juicy Smollett situation very soon. If the racism is not available, they're going to find a way to create it. These people have been relentless. Anything that has to do with Clark, relentless. So the WNBA season is almost over. And for someone like me, and for probably majority of the fans who came into this season with a clear mind, an open mind, hoping to become dedicated fans of this league, I think I can speak for a lot of people. We have been disappointed. We have been disgusted by what we have seen. We have been basically ostracized by the WNBA media, the fans that were there before we came in. And lots of people were calling people like us dumb. We didn't know what we were saying. We didn't understand basketball, despite the fact that we were NBA fans before coming to watch the WNBA. And it turned out that for the most part, we were all right. What really turned someone like me off was seeing all these players exhibiting hate, exhibiting pettiness, exhibiting jealousy, and pretending to be victims at the same time. So let's see some of those incidents that WNBA players were able to attack Clark and claim to be victims.
Basketball in the 80s and 90s was a whole different game. If you've ever watched the Bad Boys Pistons try to stop Michael Jordan, you know exactly what I mean.
Jordan lost Vinnie Johnson, and Lambert just fired at Jordan. Michael doesn't like it.
Oh, God.
Fortunately, these kinds of plays are a thing of the past. I mean, in today's NBA, you'd get ejected and suspended for those kind of moves.
I mean, look at what Jordan had to go through, and people say he's not the GOAT. Seriously, this guy had to play against all those giants in the past, driving to the basket, being brought down. I mean, they had to basically change the rules to protect Jordan. And I'm not saying the WNBA should do the same thing for Clark. That's not what I'm saying. Because we all know if that happens, we're all going to hear the, white privilege. So I don't want that. Please, I don't want that. I just want the referees to do their jobs. Just do your fucking jobs. That's all I ask.
And if your name is Draymond, it might just be an indefinite suspension. That said, it seems like some players in the WNBA have lost their minds trying to bring back Detroit's glory days, at least when they go up against Caitlin Clark.
Clark? Looks like Clark got smashed.
Can you imagine that? No call.
Unlike the Bad Boys Pistons, however, who wore their toughness on their sleeves, these WNBA players targeting Caitlin Clark try to act innocent and play the victim afterward. But they're not fooling anyone. And in today's video, we're exposing exactly what's been going on.
That's the thing. Like, they try to claim, we don't hate Caitlin. We like Caitlin Clark. Oh, they've been doing that all season. But at the end of the day, your actions speak more louder than your words. You can say all you want to say. People can see it. Everybody can see it. My issue with all this is, you don't have to like a player. I'm fine with these WNBA players hating Caitlin Clark. I'm fine with it. Just own that shit. Just own it. Not coming out to act like victims and talking about making up claims about, like, it's almost like all these things that I've been saying. The minute Clark was knocked out, they didn't say anything while she was still playing. They just waited until she was knocked out before they said anything. These people have been saying things like, saying how, they have been in danger, death threats and all that kind of a thing, which is fine. Like, I actually believe it is possible. They are very, very popular people. So every time you're that popular, you're going to get some death threats. But the one I am having a hard time believing is having someone follow you home. Like, you don't have a police report for that. Like, so you didn't call the police? Is that what you're trying to tell me? This is not a third world country. This is a first world country. You didn't call the police and at least give them a statement that someone followed you. You expect me to believe that someone like Angel Reese someone that she believes is a Caitlin Clark fan, followed her home, and she kept it to herself and just said it. Is that what you want me to believe? Really? And that's part of my fear next season, because everything that I've done this season hasn't worked. Most people have seen through all the rubbish that I've done. But when Asia talked about the fear that she has playing in Indiana, we don't have any proof of all this. With all the phone cameras, everything, we don't have any proof of any of these incidents. We don't have any proof of all that. And I'm beginning to think that these women are going to juicy Smollett this situation very soon. If the racism is not available, they're going to find a way to create it. There, I said it. I know it sounds insensitive, but I'm beginning, because these people have been relentless. Anything that has to do with Clark, relentless. Christine Brennan, if that topic was about anybody other than Clark, that whole incident would have died down weeks ago. But because it's Clark, they're still dragging it out.
In round one of the WNBA playoffs, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever squared off against the Connecticut Sun. And right from the tip-off, at the start of the game and the series, this went down.
Harassed by Carrington. Finds Boston.
As you just witnessed, Caitlin Clark attempted to dish a pass to her teammate, but DeJounna Carrington stepped in to contest it, but caught Caitlin in the face instead.
Come on, man.
Honestly, I wasn't too familiar with Carrington before, since I mainly followed the NBA, so I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt at first. But after watching the replay a dozen times, it's clear that not only was the ball way out of reach, but she also turned her hand into a claw and swiped down.
It's so obvious.
And Caitlin Clark
It's so obvious.
in pain after she caught that fingertip in the eye or right around it from Carrington with no whistle.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not an NBA or WNBA player, just a diehard basketball fan who lives and breathes the game and plays regularly at the local gym. But I've got to say, whether on the court or on TV...
I mean, eyes can be poked. If she poked maybe one finger, 2 fingers, fine. It happens. Mistake, the hand goes like this, you poke by mistake. This one, for her hand to go like this, what are we talking about here? It's just so obvious, but obviously, she always has plausible deniability, because we just don't know for sure. That was on purpose. We just don't know. But if you look at that replay, the one that he even has said doesn't even show it totally. The camera, the view from the other side shows it absolutely clearly. I mean, come on, man.
Can't ever recall seeing someone turn their hand into a claw
and bring it down on another player's face like this.
This is it. No.
Anyway, to double check myself and avoid any bias, I hopped on YouTube to see how professional defenders usually handle that position. And for this, I decided to watch how NBA defenders guard step-back threes. Because even though Caitlin wasn't attempting one, Carrington was in the same defensive position you'd see when contesting that type of shot.
Look at the hand is sealed
And listen,
straight.
guys, every defender I watched, whether guarding players like Curry, Lillard, or Harden on a step-back three, raised their hands straight up to contest the shot. No bending, no swiping, just straight up and out. They're not turning their hands into claws and bringing them down.
What are you
their
saying?
Hands stay straight up, and then
Just
they're out
go
of
straight
play.
up. Simple. And even if you go straight up and mistakenly you go close to the face, 1 finger, 2 fingers, whatever, but to go like this. This one, she came like this. She came down. What are you saying? These people, all we have gone through all season has been gaslighting upon gaslighting upon gaslighting. Ridiculous. Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know why Clark brought me into this fucking league, bro.
The WNBA refs didn't call a foul on that play, which isn't too surprising given how much Caitlin Clark has been hammered all season.
I feel like I'm getting hammered.
Now, in a later interview, when a reporter asked Carrington about the incident, she laughed. She literally laughed.
When you went and kind of swatted at Caitlin, did you intend to hit her in the eye? And if so...
It makes sense she'd laugh too. I mean, I later realized this is the same player who had completely insulted Caitlin earlier this year. Anyway, she later went on to say she didn't even realize she hit Caitlin.
But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually.
Do you know what? I was actually trying to give this lady the benefit of the doubt. Because like, at the end of the day, you're not supposed to like everybody. Like, it's just the reality. I tried everything possible. If this lady came out in this interview, this same interview that the WNBA Player Association are having their minds blown about a journalist doing their job, if she said, look, I'm really sorry, I know I really hurt her eye, which may have also led to her hitting me later in the game, you know, but it wasn't on purpose. But to stand here and act like you didn't know that you did it, you did not know. Really? Your hand is into someone's eye and you did not know it. Come on, man. This. And even if you did not know it at the time, at the end of the game, you should have seen all that was happening, all the viral videos, all the viral comments. You should have, you that is always on social media complaining. You know, this is not like a player that is not on social media. She's on social media all the time. She has Twitter fingers. So you didn't see that. You didn't see all the accusations that people were having about you. Instead of you to come out and be the... Oh, Jesus Christ. Just come out and say, look, yeah, I mistakenly hit her there. I'm sorry about that. You think Clark fans wouldn't accept that apology? But no. Just trying to find it. Find that flame. Find those flames. Act like victims. That's just all they're interested in.
Honestly, how do you not realize you hit someone in the eye, especially when they're on the ground crying in pain? But moving on, in that brief interview, and even in her post remarks, there wasn't a single apology. Instead, she played innocent, saying, I guess I followed through.
I guess I followed through and I hit her, so.
Sheesh. Somewhere in the world, Draymond Green is taking notes on what to say. But anyway, as I pointed out in this interview, Carrington played innocent throughout the whole incident. But later on, she flipped the script and acted like the victim. I mean, after Christine Brennan asked that question during the brief interview, Carrington managed to get the WNBA to publicly denounce the reporter, saying, "Two unprofessional members of the media like Christine Brennan, you're not fooling anyone, blah, blah, blah. You can't hide behind your tenure." They basically tried to get the reporter canceled, aka fired, for asking that question, saying, "You have abused your privileges and do not deserve the credentials issued to you." Yada, yada, yada.
It's actually funny seeing these WNBA players thinking that they're so important. Like, this is Christine Brennan. Even me, that didn't even follow women's basketball, I always knew this woman as the women reporter. As an African, oh Jesus Christ, this ladies, I blame the NBA for this. I blame the NBA for this. Because these women don't have to work for their money. They know that no matter what happens, the NBA will always be there to hold them up. And that's the problem with Western culture. Western culture has devolved into this, we have to do the right thing so that we won't be called misogynist or sexist or this. Instead of allowing women to get what they work for and deserve, not handouts.
The ironic part is that USA Today Sports fired back, defending Christine, saying journalists ask questions and seek truth. So, just to recap, Carrington turned her hand into a claw, swiped Caitlin in the face, and caught her in the eye. She didn't apologize and instead played innocent. Then, when a reporter asked about it, she first laughed, then turned herself into the victim, and with the WNBA, tried to get the reporter fired. She's not the only one, however, who attacked Caitlin Clark and then played innocent. Because up next is the full story of how Angel Reese attacked Caitlin Clark, played innocent, and then pulled out the dang victim card as well. During the Fever and Sky matchup on June 1st, Angel's teammate Kennedy Carter went out of her way to curse at Caitlin Clark before body checking her to the ground. Now, just look at how excited Angel is about that. She literally jumps off the bench, then claps and cheers for her teammate who just physically assaulted someone on the court.
Crazy.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone in the NBA start cheering for a teammate after they've assaulted someone on the court. Anyway, Angel faced some backlash for it, and in a later interview, she tried to play innocent, claiming she did it because she always has her teammates' backs.
Angel, what was that moment on the bench that we saw, just again standing up in the moment where Kennedy and committed the foul? What was that moment for you?
Yeah, just having my teammates back. Just having a competitive edge. I love my teammates, and I'm always going to have their back. So.
She even said she's willing to embrace the villain role and wrapped up the interview by saying people will remember her too, not just Caitlin.
And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to know.
It's clear she wasn't apologetic at all about her behavior. I mean, she wasn't celebrating a teammate scoring over Caitlin, which would be perfectly fine, but instead, she was cheering when her teammate assaulted Caitlin. That marked the initial clash between Caitlin and Angel in the WNBA. The second time came when Angel Reese slapped Caitlin Clark on the head, but let me walk you through everything that happened next. First off, during the incident, Angel Reese winds up as if she's going for the ball, but it's clear she likely knew exactly what she was doing. It was a reckless move.
I give it to them. They are so smart. They know how to make this. They know how to make this look like, oh, I was just making a basketball play. Just making a basketball play. Like, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. And they know that they will always have all these people out to defend them, bring up the red card. It's normal thing. Like, it's normal.
With no real chance of blocking the shot. Her hand was at least a ball's length away. Athletes know their body and reach, and she should have known whether a block was possible or whether there was no chance at all. Because honestly, this seemed more like an attempt to put Caitlin on the ground than to make a legitimate play. Anyway, it wasn't just a graze. She literally clocked Caitlin in the head. Then, after fleeing the impact, she just walked away. And here's where things get even more sad. So, after the refs announced they were upgrading it from a common foul to a flagrant, Angel was sitting on the bench, shaking her head like she was completely innocent. She literally just clocked Caitlin in the head and then acted like she had done nothing wrong. By the end of the season, Caitlin Clark had outplayed Angel Reese's Chicago Sky, winning the series 3-1 and earning Rookie of the Year honors. In their final matchup, Clark put an end to any comparisons, delivering a performance Angel had never experienced before. 31 points and 12 assists, all while exiting the game with just under 4 minutes left. Meanwhile, Angel stayed on the court, desperately trying for a double-double with only 5 points and 9 rebounds. It was a humiliating moment for Angel. But to save face, she claimed a few games later that she was injured. And then soon after that is where she played the victim card. You see, shortly after declaring herself out for the rest of the season, she posted a lengthy tweet claiming the media had been villainizing her for the past 2 years to push a narrative, saying it wasn't okay. But the truth is, she's the one who created that narrative. I mean, going all the way back to their college days, she taunted Caitlin in front of the world, cheered when Caitlin was assaulted, and then for good measure, smacked Caitlin to the ground without a single word of apology. In fact, instead of apologizing, she said she'd gladly embrace the bad guy role. But when it was all said and done, after Caitlin had beat her as the best rookie of 2024, she pulled out the victim card? The list of attacks on Caitlyn, followed by playing innocent, just keeps growing. I mean, Diamond DeShields ran into her, and then Cheryl Swoops, the WNBA legend who's been criticizing Caitlyn all season, stepped in to defend DeShields. There was the incident where Skylar Diggins deliberately collided with Caitlyn, and let's not forget the hit from Stephanie Dolson. Honestly, it just keeps happening, but these players need to put a stop to it, and here's why. All season long, people...
This is my issue. Like, the players are not going to... Like, you can't tell the players put a stop to it. They're not going to do it. These women have an issue. They are really, really... You know that stereotype that you've always heard that stereotype from when you were young, I'm sure, about women and their emotional problems and being petty and all that kind of a thing. The WNBA players are basically proving every misogynist, every sexist that have ever lived right. They are doing a very good job. All those red pill guys like Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit, all those people that got popular 2 years, 3 years ago, but I think their movements have died by now. All those guys, the WNBA women, proving them right. I know it's not all women. It's not all women. I understand that. But in a league that is filled with women, leadership filled with women, that stereotype is beginning to look really, really credible. I'm sorry. And it's not going to end. Kathy Ingleburn, whatever her fucking name is, she is spineless. Like, I've never seen a commissioner as spineless as that woman. The inmates basically run the prison in the WNBA. The commissioner is just there she's just there as a spineless figurehead. This is where Adam Silver is supposed to come in. You are the guys keeping this league alive. Wouldn't you love this league to actually become profitable so that you can make your money back? Make that decision. Sack all the referees if that's what you have to do. I don't care if they lose their jobs. I don't care. Sack all of them. Bring good referees. Money is coming in now. Bring in professional, good referees. And I know even NBA referees aren't perfect, but at least they do call fouls for the most part. Nobody wants to be watching prison ball out here. And if you call the fouls, these players are going to adjust because they want to stay on the court, right? So if you call fouls, if you call flagrant fouls, if you call the flagrant twos, send them out of the game, suspend them, then they will behave. That is how it is done. You cannot sit down and expect these players to have some sense and look at the bigger picture. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
The WNBA have been saying the league is about more than just one player. Cheryl Reeve made it a point to publicly post on social media, emphasizing that the league isn't all about Caitlyn Clark. Throughout the season, as we've highlighted earlier, players like Angel Reese echoed the same sentiment, constantly saying that people watch the league because of her, not just Caitlyn Clark.
The reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Now, let's look at the facts here. The 2023
She's just she's delusional. WNBA women are delusional. The WNBA original fans are fucking delusional. They are the worst kind of fans I've ever seen in my whole life.
NBA Finals averaged around 728,000 viewers, making it the most watched final in 20 years with a 36% increase from 2022. In Game 1 of the first-round matchup between Caitlyn's Fever and the Connecticut Sun, the game drew 1.84 million viewers, despite going head-to-head with NFL football that day. And here's where it gets even crazier. Game 2 of that series pulled in an even higher 2.5 million viewers. That's more than triple the average of the most watched WNBA finals in over 20 years. You can look at all the stats, and they all support the truth. Caitlyn Clark, the player the WNBA has been targeting all year, will be the catalyst for the league's transformation. From being seen as a joke by the majority of sports fans to
I remember that incident by Gideon. Oh man, look at courtside seats, empty seats, probably very cheap. Wow, look at the embarrassment.
From being seen as a joke by the majority of sports fans to being recognized as a legitimate sports league. So yeah, the WNBA might be more than just one player, but at the same time, it really isn't.
I don't really have much to say about this. Unfortunately, this is going to continue. It's going to continue until the leaders in the league actually do the right thing and do their jobs. Like I keep seeing people claim like people that support Clark just want everybody to, give her the free road to do whatever she wants to do. No. Maybe some people feel that way, but majority of us don't feel that way. We just want the referees to do their jobs. Call the fouls, make the calls and let's just say your league is this physical league, you don't call fouls, then apply it to everybody. Don't just make it so a point that Asia Wilson gets all the calls, she barely gets any fouls called against her. But someone could say, okay, she's a superstar, so she's getting superstar calls. Is she a bigger superstar than Caitlin Clark? Yeah, she may be a better player right now, but she's not even close. She can't even outsell a rookie on her team. A rookie that wasn't even like one of the top rookies. Can't even outsell her jersey sells. So she may be the best player, but she's not even close to the superstar that Clark is. So if you are doing this whole superstar calls, then that should apply even more so on Clark.